I never knew that. Wow, I feel honored now. I thought my parents named me Hugo because my father was slightly drunk on the day I was born, but I guess
happens.
not. My name is Hugo Souldra, and I am so pleased to be with you, even though I'm not very excited for this World Elite versus Young Glory game. However, I do think we will have some really fun games coming up, and it's always a pleasure to be with you, Nick.
I just realized at the start of that right there, my mic was actually muted on stream, so the full intro didn't go through because I'm just too cool like that. So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I am Nick Yako. Unfortunately, you could not hear me, but again, yes, joined with Souldra. We're bringing you this fine coverage of the 10s and LPL. We do have 2 sets of 2 for you tonight, or today, wherever you're at in the world. First off is going to be Team WE versus Team Young Glory. And the second one, OMG versus IG. That's a very hyped up match.
Nick, I still can't believe you put me on blast like that. Oh my goodness, that is so embarrassing. No, but these, I think, especially the OMG versus IG game is what our fans will really be looking forward to because, that is it. Of course, it's a rematch from the LPL playoffs. And that's when Xiang was still at the mid lane for OMG, and IG did, fairly easily crush, the men in black. So I am very excited to see how both of these teams do, especially with, new players at both the top lane for IG. They brought in the young Korean player Youngsu, and at the middle lane for OMG, they brought in arguably the greatest mid laner in Chinese history.
Cool. Deserves more hype than you tried to give, so I tried to go cool.
Yeah, I'll let you do that kind of thing. I'll just I'll sip my tea right here. I got some water with me, and this is going to be a very long cast because just these World Elite games. To go into a little bit of analysis, to do a little bit of my job, these World Elite games do tend to drag on for a really long time.
70 minutes. Yeah, 70 minutes, just like 2 nights ago, rather.
I feel like their micro gameplay, like their positioning and their handling of certain objectives, like Baron, Dragon, their tower siege is also very good, even though World Elite mostly does pick tower siege compositions. But their micro gameplay is very good. But they're putting them in themselves in positions to succeed. That is where World Elite kind of falls off, and that's where you want to hire the coach. You want Hero to teach these players how to put themselves in positions to do well and to eventually capture these objectives. But for some reason, World Elite's grasp of rotations and being able to move in to comfortably grasp objectives is not as crisp as it could be, and not as crisp as I would expect, especially since Hero did bring in Ninja and Axine specifically to be able to communicate with those 2 players better than they would have Sukim and Ruo.
Yeah, so looks like right now, going over potential lineups on screen for y'all. So before picks and bans, we might want to go over those as well, potentially. For the side of Young Glory, top lane going to be number 1, the jungle Yinfu, mid lane Diangun, rather, if I can get my pronunciations. AD carry is Zhenlong, and then support Yancer.
And on the and if I'll have the pleasure of announcing the side of World Elite, or do you want to talk about YG first? I mean, if we're just going to talk about the YG's lineup, if we're going to talk about YG's lineup, there's nothing really special. To be frank, there's nothing really special about the side of YG. Their bottom lane, unfortunately, is pretty weak. So, in the event that the dual lane from Young Glory does decide to, lane against Wei Xiao and Conan, I expect them to get thoroughly stomped because they're just not at the professional tier at this point.
I am honestly expecting, I know you can see champions like Yancer playing people like Nami and Annie, but potentially I'm expecting a soon-to-be Blitzcrank, as he does play a lot of that Blitzcrank, so I'm hoping that we can see that one, because just imagine those face grabs onto Wei Xiao just getting destroyed. So probably now, as the WE lineup is being gone over, we should probably go over that as well. So in the top lane for WE, it's going to be Xiao Mei. In the jungle, Sin. The mid lane, Ninja. AD carry and support, Wei Xiao and Conan.
I mean, you really have to look at the jungle and mid lane positions, and I'm sure, that's all the talk of China right now. Because, me, but, other members of, some of my other colleagues who, are fans of the Chinese League of Legends scene, we were all just really stunned at this kind of move, especially since, in my opinion, first, straight up, Sukim is much better than Ninja. I mean, Ninja doesn't touch the dirt on Sukim's shoes. I think that's how clear of a difference there is between these two players. And especially since Sukim was still at, kind of the growth stage, it really was puzzling to see Hero remove Sukim in favor of, a Korean mid laner who never really impressed me. Back in the OGN, Old B really carried that team and that lane. Ninja, I don't think, ever did anything really special. And on the jungle side, while Axine is really famous. He was in the Jin Air organization. He took some time off because, as you might remember, he used to be in the AQ Esports Club, which was involved in the scandal, and which led former AD carry Promise, also known as Femir, to attempt to commit suicide. Luckily for us, he failed. But after taking some time off, Axine did move to China, and while he is a little bit more polished than Ruo, I think Ruo had much more potential than Axine ever will have for the rest of his career.
So now I'd imagine we're going to get into picks and bans very, very soon, but I just want to say I was told you were going to be blunt about your statements on WE. So
I mean, just to go over, World Elite is not a very good team. When I was talking with some of my colleagues, I predicted them to come 5th or 6th in the LPL, and even though they have pulled out a few good wins, I think they're very predictable at this point. And picking and banning against them is very easy. You just have to ban some of the split pushing top laners, some of the AD carries that scale really well, because essentially World Elite only knows how to split push and siege towers. If you ban out the Kog'Maw, ban out the Kayle, ban out the Lulu, what does World Elite really have? Because clearly, Conan can't play Nami. Let's just put it out there. Conan can't play Nami. So if you ban out certain key champions or pick away certain champions from World Elite, it's really easy to capitalize on their mistakes. So hopefully YG does decide to do that, even though their pick ban phase has been quite suspect for the past few weeks.
So on that note, though, looking at the standings for this LPL right now, it's a 4-way tie for first place, WE included in that tie, with other teams such as LGD and IG, respectively. So, I mean, you say possibly not the best start, maybe a 6th place prediction, but started off fairly nice in this LPL summer season, so wait and see it. But we are into picks and bans, ladies and gentlemen, so let's just go ahead and get to it. Thresh down for the count, LeBlanc down for the count, and Kasten. These Chinese players definitely targeting out those mid lanes.
Yeah, I mean, Thresh and Braum, especially since so much emphasis is put onto playmaking, AD carries and supports, Thresh and Braum are both very, good target bans in terms of trying to, well, not just bans in general, in terms of just trying to remove these so-called OPs. LeBlanc is a very good target ban against Diangun. His LeBlanc is fairly good, and he's shown himself to be quite shaky on other champions. And Kassadin is Kassadin's pretty broken right now, so that's almost a given. And we keep seeing these Kha'Zix bans. I don't necessarily agree with Kha'Zix in this 4.9 patch. We are in 4.9, ladies and gentlemen. Because especially since most people play him in the jungle, I don't think he's bad in the mid lane, but in the jungle he's just not that good. And really good on the side of Young Glory to take away that Kayle, not let World Elite get that top lane Kayle, even though I do suspect that Chow Mei will grab the top Lulu as a response.
So going over to number 1, now we get to see, like you said, the top Lulu is available, and that is definitely one of the top tier picks in China at this time around. So definitely going to be big. As you can see, a 10.9% ban rate, so letting that one through. Lee Sin is going to be coveted in the jungle by WE, as well as that Lulu first pick. You called it 100%. Now I get to see what YG actually goes with to counter.
Yeah, I mean, Lee Sin is just a really nice standard pick right now, especially in the hands of these Korean junglers, such as Axine, such as Insect. They really know how to make Lee Sin work. Top Lulu, I don't think it's a surprise at all. We might even see the top Lulu. And then, God forbid, I think Wei Zhao might even decide to play, something like Kog'Maw or Lucian this game. So it might be one of those long, drawn-out World Elite games that, I don't know if my body is ready to handle that kind of cast. You know, Nick, we've been on the LPL for one day on the job. I don't know if we can go into a 70-minute game at this point in time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if Wei Zhao does go for that Kog'Maw pick, there's something that differs him from a lot of other AD carries. He is so aggressive with his positioning. He was just, if you watch the game, the 70-minute where WE managed to just pull it away on that, or where WE was playing Kog'Maw, he was swarming into the enemy team 1v3 and just destroying their faces. He was just walking at him with a little Kog'Maw face, just just obliterating face the entire time. So
it was the Acathian surprise, my friend. You know, I mean, but it's when you do give Kog'Maw that time, and for some reason, you know, teams, especially teams like YG that have been in the LSPL and don't know how to punish certain lanes correctly, they usually do allow champions like Kog'Maw to ramp up. But the Lucian, I mean, World Elite is clearly going for the Tower Siege game again because, frankly, World Elite doesn't know how to do anything else except Tower Siege and kind of muddle around Baron and Dragon, trying to look for something to do. On the side of Young Glory, their comp isn't very clear right now. This is mostly a team fighting composition. The issue would be that World Elite has shown itself to ward very well, and Young Glory's vision control isn't very good yet. So in the event that World Elite does ward their side of the jungle quite proficiently, it might be hard for YG to demand these kind of fights that they so desperately need in order to take dragons, in order to take turrets.
Now we get to see what WE choose to counter out that Syndra. As far as YG's comp is concerned right now, you see a lot of lane bullying potential on the Syndra, on the Twitch, and the Kale, respectively. So, looks like we're going to see a lock-in on the Ziggs. That one's going to go to Ninja in the mid lane versus a Syndra. We got a game, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be fun. First game of tonight on this LPL coverage, YG versus WE. We have all our picks. We have all our bans. We have all that good stuff. The question is, Hubo, what can we expect early on?
Right, so I think we're in for another 45-minute game because, Ninja just locked in the Ziggs. They're clearly going for, like, the late game Tower Siege, kite for Wei Zhao. I would like to say, though, Wei Zhao's Lucian is freaking good. I mean, it is exquisite. I think when Wei Zhao plays Lucian, even though I don't think Wei Zhao is a top tier AD carry in China, when he does play Lucian, I think he automatically becomes tier 1. That's how good his, the Chinese call it Obama, so that's how good his Obama is. Both Ziggs and Syndra are, very classic Chinese picks. And that's because Syndra and Ziggs, since their zone control is so strong, they are not champions that are necessarily dependent on early warding. So you can play Syndra, you can play Ziggs without having to, desperately ward your or the opponent's side of the jungle. And that's why, Ziggs and Syndra, I believe, were probably two of the most highly, picked or banned mid laners in the LPO, at least last season, and I highly expect them to be, expect the same kinds of results this season. So let's go over the team compositions a bit. What are the win conditions for each side? For World Elite, it's basically to, capitalize on that mid-game power spike, really push down towers, get an early, win an early team fight, get Baron, and just close out the game within 30 minutes, even though, considering World Elite's general strategies, that might not be very,
70 minutes.
30 minutes might translate to 70 minutes, 70 minutes might translate to 2 hours, we don't know. For Young Glory, really, they have a nice late-game team composition. The Syndra is very flexible. You can use it as an assassin, you can use it to zone, even though there aren't many champions to zone on the side of World Elite because they did pick the Lulu and the Ziggs. So I expect Yanggun to use the Syndra as an assassin and really try to reach that late game so your top laner, number 1, can just split push all day and the rest of your team can start, making picks based off of good vision control. The question is, of course, can Young Glory obtain the vision control necessary to win this game?
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are on to Summoner's Rift for game 1 of this set of 2 between Team WE and Young Glory. So, now it looks like we get to see a little bit of a slow play on the early game. We'll see if there's a potential invade. It looks like YG gathering around just a little bit up by this for potential Red Brush invade.
Yeah, the most interesting thing will be, and World Elite is going to generally know where the early wards are coming out. So and they do get a Thor. Nice. The main thing is going to be whether World Elite will make the appropriate moves to get the 2v2, because Lucian and Leona is a very strong lane, and I think that appropriately they do want the duo lanes to face off against each other. Especially, as I said before, Wei Zhao and Conan, as bad as Conan has been throughout this LPL season, Wei Zhao and Conan are heads and tails above Zhenlong and Yanser. Is that the expression, heads and tails? Maybe it might be neck and shoulders.
Cats and dogs? Heads and shoulders?
Raining men? I have no idea. So, heads and tails above, the bottom lane coming out from the side of Young Glory.
So we're going to see double red buff starts, just invades on both ends of the count, and it looks like it will be that forced 2v1 setup in this bottom lane and at the top.
Yeah, it does look like it. This is a very interesting level 1. No, standard level 1 starts from all sides, even though Zhenlong technically shouldn't be there. He should be freezing the wave. But standard 2v1's coming out, and I think that this is mostly in World Elite's favor, because even though World Elite did want to look for the duo lane, it doesn't really matter for them, because if they do get to push down a tower very early, then 4 members of World Elite can group in the mid lane to start sieging towers and really try to win the tower race. And nice poke from Ninja onto Yanxia.
He's actually flashing, and now it's going to be Chao Mei taking the damage. That's first blood going over in the jungle to Yin Fu, and now that's a very nice start of your Team YG. And that's going to be the flash force as well in the jungle. So pause comes out, but first blood right over to the Jarvan. Yin Fu picking that one up for Young Glory.
Yeah, I was actually watching the wrong stream right there, but very nice kill on the side. Oh, I know, I'm messing up pretty hard. Twitch chat, don't hate me, please.
I was watching Hotshot GG stream some solo queue really quick.
Yeah, dude, I gotta watch my daily double lift, I can't get myself enough of that Peter Peng. Anyways, so very nice on YG to get that first kill. That should put them fairly comfortably ahead. And, if all goes well for World Elite, we might not have a 60-minute game, but it might be 60 minutes anyways because of these numerous pauses. Of course, these games are taking place in Shanghai. This is live, ladies and gentlemen. And Nick, how was your day today?
Well, my day was actually fairly good. Went and played some golf. Then I came home and relaxed for a bit. And then we talked for a little bit prior, compared some things, talked and just BS'd a little bit. I think we're going to do very well together. We have very good senses of humor, Hubo.
I like when you talk.
We're bros.
Bros?
We're bros. Bros before bros. In fact, it was brought up to me by another caster here that our casting duo name was going to be Nubbo. You're Hubo. I'm Nubbinz. So Nubbo is going to be our setup, and that's going to be our name for our duo. It's pretty adorable.
Wait, was that Pyrotechnics?
It was Pyrotechnics.
Please ban someone. Please ban
Nubbo
from chat. I don't need this kind
of.
Dude, I don't need this name on my reputation.
Nubbo is so adorable.
Oh my goodness.
That is the best name ever.
Oh my goodness.
So just awaiting just awaiting this pause to end so we can get back to the game. But again, first blood goes over to Yin Fu for the side of Young Glory, and that's flashes burned actually. You saw that Chao Mei just wasted his flash on the Lulu pick immediately and then got double knockup. So Yin Fu did very well jumping with a double knockup, securing that first blood because he got the Lulu and the Ziggs. And that just basically kind of just held it from there. Did a fantastic job.
Yeah, the thing is, it's funny because World Elite is usually the team that likes to gank mid lane with 2 or 3 members. And for some reason, the Chinese teams are always caught off guard, even though those ganks should be very predictable. But usually it's World Elite usually World Elite is the team that likes to, make an early play on the mid lane, especially since Conan does have that Leona, and he has shown a penchant when on Leona towards ganking the mid lane. So I guess it's WE that gets knocked up this time.
Going to just rock it. So again, I was just kind of chilling. So I told you how my day was. How was your day?
My day was very good. I did finish the game known as Watch Dogs, and it's a pretty good game. I didn't think it was that good personally.
Ooh, yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, but
those Steam summer sales though.
Those Steam summer sales though.
A lot of room to talk about.
Yeah, I did save up a little bit of money, from the NLB cast and from working at a restaurant to get to capitalize on some of those Steam summer sales. Nick, I am a businessman. I do major in economics.
You're an entrepreneur.
I'm an entrepreneur. I like to, invest in the right products, and I think that I'll be very happy when I open my Steam window. After this broadcast, of course, because I always give 110% towards our viewers who have so graciously joined us for the third day of Week 2 in the LPL Summer Split.
I will feel special whenever I open up my bank account and notice a donation made by Mr. Hubo because he invests in good things. Investing in me. I'll get some loving.
Right, we can always set up the video chat. I mean, if you want to.
At some point, it's going to happen. Once as everything get there, everything is going to be amazing. But right now, we've got to work with what given. So soon enough, though, this is going to be very, very fantastic, and it already is very fantastic. I'm having a blast right now. Hope you're doing the same. Twitch chat, I hope you're having a blast as well, but not the point entirely. So the game should be starting up soon. But I mean, these pauses in China, you never know how long they could take.
I actually think Tencent Games is kind of trolling us, because they see the team composition coming out from World Elite, and they're like, "Oh my God, wait, this isn't within the realm of the laws of physics. We gotta elongate this game somehow." So they're just putting random pauses in there. But hopefully, the issue does get solved. Honestly, just because of the way World Elite, to go back to the game, the way the World Elite's team composition works, that first kill doesn't have huge game impact, especially since first blood gold isn't worth that much within the first 5 to 7 minutes of the game. So as long as Wei Zhao is safely farming that bottom lane, and as long as he gets the tower around, hopefully before the 15-minute mark, and they're able to rotate towards the dragon, use their early game power spec to rotate towards the mid lane and start capturing objectives, that first blood shouldn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So hopefully Hero, their Korean coach, former Najin house member, did tell them how to execute this composition to perfection, and I believe we're going back in.
Yes, we are back into the game, ladies and gentlemen. It is important to note again that this is on patch 4.9. That is why there is a Twitch being played. So keep in mind those early dragons not going to be worth as much as they are on 4.10, and all of the new items down for the count as well at this point in time. So on 4.9, have a lot of meta picks going around, and it looks like we're going to see YG, top and jungler, doing that two-man push, same for WE. It's pretty much what happens. It's the standard now in these 2v1 swap forces. Jungle and top laner clear.
It's really interesting that the Kale #1 on the side of Young Glory both top laners haven't come to collect this wave, and that's mostly because these teams don't have vision of the enemy jungler, so they don't know that if they do in fact teleport to the top and bottom towers respectively for World Elite and Young Glory, they don't know if they're going to immediately be killed. But very good move, Chow Mei, Conan, and Axine from the side of World Elite decide to take this dragon. Yep. And we were talking about those early objectives. World Elite has to snowball early objectives, so this is a very good sign that World Elite know what they're doing and know what their win conditions are.
So making that nice little transition, going over to the dragon. That one's going to be down for the count. First dragon of tonight, ladies and gentlemen, over to Team WE on a nice smite from Sin in the jungle. So that's going to be the gold now in their favor just by 100, but it's even now. 4 minutes, 30 seconds in, definitely not a big differential at all. We've got a lot of game to be played, ladies and gentlemen, so don't think anything of it. We're only 4 minutes in, and there's already been fun time all across the board. And now,
right, and,
yeah, it's getting slow
sorry
down.
to interrupt you, but Chow Mei is going down towards the bottom lane. So now the side of Young Glory really has to make a decision. They either have to send 2 members towards the bottom lane to stop the 3-man push, or they have to go for a 4-man push themselves. And it does look like Yinfu and #1 are going to posture towards this bottom lane. So whether World Elite takes that early tower or not, we don't know, but maybe they will. Maybe Wei Zhao will rebalance the wave and try to, capitalize on the lane experience just a little bit more before taking that bottom tier turret, outer tier turret.
So now Chow Mei and Conan both going to the top lane as they leave Wei Zhao to the bottom lane to recall and potentially head up there as well. Maybe switch things up, go for a turret push. Who knows? But now that's going to be looking at CS leads across the board. The only big difference is, well, in the mid lane, Goon doing a nice job solo 1v1 against Ninja on the CS counts, but Sin is just waiting and lurking.
Oh, let's see
and
if we
now
can get a play.
Could be bad. Does a ward jump, trying to stun it up. And well, you can see Goon doing a little bit, but he's going to go down, and that's going to be Sin picking up the kill. So now, Xiao Mei in the mid lane, Ninja and Sin in the mid lane with Conan. They're looking to potentially get a turret, maybe get a fight dive.
I mean, Axine really played that out well. What a really, nice display of mechanics right there. And now they're all posturing towards the top lane, so let's see. That lane is frozen, though. So I guess they expect, the dual lane from Young Glory to overextend at some point, but it looks like that's not going to happen. But on that previous gank, really nice display of mechanics coming out from Axine, able to weave himself around the minions in order to pull off that, Sonic Wave Resonating Strike combo. And it looks like the game is all evened up, except for that early Dragon, which does put World Elite about 600 gold in the lead.
Yeah, so now Lee Sin going to back off, but it was potentially a three-man push on the top, and all the while, Wei Xiao's still just been farming it out in the bottom lane by himself, still down in CS, and it was shown that #1 headed down there as well, and they're potentially trying to kill him right now. He's on the run, and it looks like he's getting it knocked up through a shank to the face, and they're trying to take this to full turn, but Wei Xiao fends him off 1v2. Says, hey, I see what you're doing, and I don't like it. Oh, man, the stacks. The stacks, look at that kill. Goon just gets melted again. That's 0-2. Nice crowd control stacking by WE, and they're up 2-1 in kills now.
And I was about to comment because you could really see that kill coming from so far away. Young Glory had no vision on the map, and really understands how to capitalize and make the most of the lane experience on the board. What they basically did was that they saw that the dual lane of YG was beginning to push the lane out, so they pushed the wave all the way back in to make sure that they weren't losing any free lane minion experience, and then they just went and ganked the mid lane again. And they know that because, frankly, Goon's understanding of how waves are pushing and where the enemy usually is pretty bad. They know that it's basically a free kill, and they're able to push down this middle lane turret. So very nice play coming out from the side of World Elite, and I'm very impressed right now, despite how hard I've been on them for the past few weeks.
Well, Ninja and Goon trying to duke it out a little bit, but Yancer shows up with a little bit of ebb and flow to shut down Ninja's eyes on the prize, so they'll just kind of back off a little bit and duke it out. But as far as this lane matchup is concerned, the Ziggs has a little bit of an edge. Looking at the goal, it's almost 1,000 in favor of WE, but despite all that, YG definitely not trying to back away at any point in time. They're keeping this as close as possible. And, well, it looks like the AD carries Zhenlong trying to duke it out with Xiao Mei. The question is, can he get the kill? He's only level 3. Boom! Shakalaka! And Zhenlong takes down Xiao Mei.
And that was only with a Dorn's Blade on this Twitch. I mean, really, that was a really nice play, and that just goes to show how this 2v1 meta works. Since Xiao Mei was only level 3, he really should have continued double jungling with Axine, and then they should have just tried to exchange turrets. Now they're going to be forced into an exchange, and you never want to be the one answering, reacting. You always want to be the one, trying to be proactive across the map. The good thing for World Elite is that they do have 2 turrets to take at their disposal. So since both the outer tier turrets in the mid lane and the bottom lane are very low, so the advantage is still for World Elite, but very nice heads-up play coming out from Zhenlong to get that early kill onto Xiao Mei, and now Xiao Mei is forced into the middle lane.
So we could potentially see tier 1 turret trades as the first turret goes down in favor of YG. Top lane tier 1 and a nice 2-man setup from the Twitch and the Nami. So bottom lane for YG making plays, but in the bottom lane it is a trade. Wei Xiao picks that one up solo. Pink ward's going down. Dragon is taken down at 4 minutes 30 seconds, so still have a little bit more time for that one. Potentially a minute left on the counter, 42 seconds. So forgot there was a timer on my screen. I am pretty bad. But now it's going to be Sin trying to duke it out in the jungle. Can he get the kill? That's going to be tidal wave, but a nice intervention. Look at this trade going down. That's going to be a kill for Sin in the jungle. Nicely done, taking down Yin Fu. So, I mean, that was a big duke.
The thing is, like, really, this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is what the teleport meta is. The teleport meta is all about your support and your top laner just going around trying to make plays around the AD carry and the mid laner that are usually in their lanes. So really nice job, and that kill comes all from early warding. They realize when the dragon's about to respawn, they go and ward the enemy side of the jungle. Fortunately get a kill, but even if they didn't get a kill, they would have gotten the free dragon anyway. So really nice understanding outstanding of early game concepts coming out from Team World Elite.
Yep, they do pick up the second dragon of the game. 2-0 is the score on that front. And now the gold lead averaging up just a little bit more. They are over 1,000 in the lead, so first peak of the day. Now, everybody's going to kind of reset, let the lanes play out, and we might get to see these standard 1-1-2 matchups.
I mean, this is going really well for World Elite. I mean, they aren't doing outstandingly well. They're not stomping anybody, but this is basically where they want to be, considering WE's team composition with the Lucian, with the Ziggs, with the Lulu. So World Elite is doing very well. I do believe that the next step will be to finally, capitalize on the low health of that mid lane turret. Chow Mei still has his teleport up, so he should be pushing this lane out and, duking it out with, with number one. And then he should, after World Elite looks to make a play, or maybe Axiom will make a play by himself, he should be teleporting down and trying to push, eventually the outer tier turret, yes, but eventually that second tier turret as well.
So there's a level advantage in this 1v1. Number one versus Chow Mei. Kind of wonder if he's going to try to take on the Lulu mano-a-mano, or just kind of let them be and just farm it out up there and wait for some intervention. No pun intended.
I mean, really, oh my goodness, Nick. Really, the reason why both Lulu and Kale are such popular top laners now is because of how safe they are. Lulu, of course, has the Whimsy. Chow Mei has the Wild Growth. Both are, provide very good utility and would allow Chow Mei to escape any potential ganks, especially given that he still has his flash up. So Chow Mei not feeling very pressured in lane right now, and things still looking good for World Elite.
Yep, group it up. Now we're going to see the AD carries 1v1 duking it out a little bit in the bottom lane. Wei Zhao versus Zhenlong. Twitch v Lucian if they try to go for it, but a potential grouping in the mid lane from YG as well. Going to just be completely nullified. They'll just back out across the board. And a little bit of a slow play here, but a roaming Leona as Conan just been across the map 100%. Took out a Pink Ward and Riv, and now he is in the mid lane just kind of
look at that Nami. She might get kicked out,
kicked in the face.
Yeah, kicked in the face by Lee Sin, the Blind Monk. World Elite's early warding, look at how many pink wards are on the map right now. They're just, spamming, vision control all over the map. Really beautiful to see. Honestly, I don't think it's the most... Oh, and we see another kill? That's another kill.
Maybe, potentially. Answer getting just obliterated, an auto attack from a distance. And Ninja...
Nick, I predicted that. I predicted that kill about 30 seconds ago, so all credit to me. Really, I mean, as I said before, just the early vision control from World Elite, really nice coming out. And, this is really what they want to do. Early vision control, snowball leads, get the opponent's blue buff, just take everything from the map because you have a composition that really does well in the early game. And they're probably going to give this one over to Ninja, so Axiom will be able to take another one for himself. It looks like, actually, I think they give both blue buffs towards to Ninja, so really nice sharing coming from there, but we see another fight.
Yeah, hang on, teleport's coming as well. Solar Flare being used. Jinfu picks up the first kill. Sin's down for the count, so it looks like it'll be just full-on disengaged from there, but even still, a 1-for-0 trade.
Yeah, and Chow Mei decides to cancel the teleport, so, I mean... Basically, Chow Mei decides not to, engage in any silly fights. He knew that the Ziggs ultimate was down at least for about another 10 to 15 seconds because of that kill onto, Yansir's Nami earlier. So really good decision from Chow Mei to not go down to the bottom lane.
Wei Zhao taking a lot of damage just from Zhenlong's auto attack and contaminate combination. Contaminates the E, right? It pains me.
I mean,
it's gotta be.
You see why Twitch got nerfed in 4.10. Just for a champion that's supposed to have range as his utility and the ambush stealth utility, as well as really just late game scaling. His early game numbers just do a lot of damage. I mean, you can't trade with Twitch. That's a given fact. So nice plays coming out from the AD carry of Young Glory so far.
Yep, so now we get to see the matchup. So back being forced out. So number one going to go spend his money up. Has that little stinger ready and awaiting. Now we get to see Infu heading down to the bottom lane, but backs are forced from Wei Zhao and Conan. So maybe YG will look to take down this tier 1 bottom lane turret, and it'll be another trade. But the mid lane tier 1 goes down just even with Diangoon sitting in the lane trying to save it. So 2-1, WE with a turret lead.
Right, so this is really smart coming out from World Elite. We see that there's 1 minute left on the dragon. So basically what Ninja decides to do is he decides to push the wave out, take the turret, and then return back to the lane with full items. Therefore, when World Elite decides to contest the next dragon, they'll know that they're capitalizing on every single coin that they have in their purses right now, and that they're at full power. So World Elite is looking very strong when they decide to go for this next dragon, and when they eventually decide to go for that next inner tier turret in the mid lane.
I was not expecting to hear the word coins and purses. I tell you what, that was unique wording, my friend. You are very, very good with vocabulary. That was fantastic.
Nick, I did do very well on the SAT, and they used to have a vocabulary section, so just that Asian life coming to represent and helping me out with this LPL cast. That was random. But, teams posturing up for this. Oh, and we see a nice fight right here. 2v1.
Hang on, 2v1. Can Wei Zhao make something happen here? Flashing the wall, so nothing gonna come. But Sin and Conan en route to that lane as well. Dragon is up and live, and we could potentially see a 5v5. Teleport is not up for Chow Mei in the top lane, nor _1 on the Kale, but he's down here already. So Chow Mei, if he wants to make this a 5v5, probably should head down soon. But until that point, YG potentially trying to swarm. That's going to be Sin. Getting a kick in the face, back in the face. So that's going to be down for the count. Diangoon now trying to trade away his shank to the face. Teleport is up, and he's heading down there right now. But it's 5-3 and a nice trade already. Look at that nice Aqua Prison as well. And a Solar Flare going to be dodged out. Wild Growth already up. Intervention being used as well by #1. Stun up over the wall. Big Inferno Bomb to the face, and the Culling picks up the kill. Now Wei Zhao going on full force. Not going to chase it to full turn, but still a trade for the ages. 2-0. And now let's see if Yancer goes down. Here it goes. Here it goes. Sonic Wave to the face. Dodging out. Nice dodge. Look at this one. Sin in the face. Yancer on the run. Can he make something happen? Probably not. Oh, man. Little man on the run.
And they get the dragon.
Have you heard about the Lonesome Loser?
Basically, they get 3 early kills. They get the dragon, and now they're in perfect position to start pushing out their waves. Really nice fight from World Elite. We said earlier that WE had to go back and buy in order to make sure that they were at full power for this next dragon fight, and you really saw it. In fact, WE mispositioned in that fight after Axion got that early kill onto the Syndra, Diangoon's Syndra. Basically, they were in a really awkward position because the Nami on the side of Young Glory, Yancy had a really nice Aqua Prison onto Chow Mei's teleporting Lulu. So, but because of how powerful they were, just because of all the early leads they got.
Oh baby! Look at that Look at that unleashed power. Conan getting obliterated. Yeah. So now it's Chow Mei alone in the mid lane, and YG, this mid lane turret, going to be falling down 2-1. Unless Megan Inferno Bomb has anything to say about it, I don't think it will. And it will, so they will actually fend off. They won't tank the shots. They will let the turret stay alive, and the wars will go down. So WE, on all accounts, we do get into a little bit of a replay here, so we can analyze this dragon fight.
Yeah, beautiful pick onto Diangoon right there, just really nice. So you see, Ninja is in quite an awkward position, and Yancer does get the early Aqua Prison onto Chow Mei, but it doesn't matter, just because of how powerful the team composition of World Elite is at this particular point in time. So really nice job from World Elite, knowing exactly what their limits were, and basically understanding that despite how awkward of a position they were in, they could still pull out for the win in the team fight. 3 early kills and the dragon, absolutely beautiful.
So 7-4 now in kills. WE in the lead, 30.1 to 26-1. K on the gold, 4K gold advantage, 2 turrets to 1, and YG now falling a little bit behind. 20 minutes in, Sin just making plays across the map on that Lee Sin. So definitely a big coveted pick in the LPL scene as a whole, and we get to see potential. Kind of things may be slowing down a little bit as we progress through this mid game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think both teams are fine with slowing down. World Elite is, right now what World Elite needs to do is they have very good, ward coverage from every single side of the map. So what they need to do is all group in the mid lane, but they just want to make sure that their waves are pushed out first, and they can leave Ninja. They know that they can leave Ninja alone in the mid lane just because Ziggs is a champion that just has such good wave clear.
The good thing about this really low tier 1 mid lane turret is YG has something to try and siege, try and take down, but there's a lot of wave clear from WE, so just gonna let it go, let it go,
yeah,
let it live.
Let it go. I mean, the thing is, and just to point out particular players right here, Yinfu has really gotten, kind of squashed in this game, in this first match between World Elite and YG. He's the jungler for the side of Young Glory, and his Jarvan honestly hasn't done much. Even though he is 2-1-1, he does have the 2 kills and an assist. I mean, he constantly, in my opinion, he constantly arrives late to team fights. He's fairly bad at reading the enemy jungler, and he's basically getting out-rotated by Axine in all aspects of the game. So really good on Axine just to outplay the enemy jungler and put his team ahead that 4,000 gold within the first 20 minutes of the game.
Okay, so Diangoon gets a nice double stun up. Weak scattering at its finest, but this mid lane turret's still going to keep on chugging, and YG could go for it, but a solar flare being flashed out almost got it again, and poor Diangoon has just been getting stacked up with crowd control and just getting obliterated in this game.
Right, I mean, really nice solar flare coming out from Konan to basically blow the summoner of Diangoon, and the summoners on Syndra are fairly important just because she's not very mobile as a champion. So World Elite is in kind of a weird situation right now. They basically do want to make the pick, and Konan's Solar Flare was supposed to be that really big play that would translate into another objective. Probably the second-tier turret on the second-tier mid lane turret on the side of Young Glory. However, that Solar Flare does miss. Fortunately for World Elite, the cooldown is very short, so they'll be able to push out their lanes again and then come back towards the mid lane and try to make another play. And you see they're hiding in the bush right now, just trying to make a pick or two.
Also keep in mind, Dragon is up in 1 minute and 19 seconds, so thus far it's a 2-0 setup for WE on Dragons, and looking to potentially make that 3. Yancer using that pink out. Sonic Wave lands. Oh my god, poor Diangoon just getting stacked up and destroyed. Yeah. Can he get a kill and trade it 1-for-1? Not going to happen, even with the Unleashed Powered Ignite ticking away. So Diangoon down for the count again, 8-4 now, and that potentially sets up another Dragon for WE in 50 seconds.
He actually, Diangoon, I think, actually started spamming missing pings, so maybe a little bit of rage from our friend Diangoon right here. But, this is going to be a very free mid lane turret, and then right after this, they can go for the dragon. I don't think the teleport matters right here. They can still fight. Nice.
Aqua Prison, though, on it, too. Stacking the knockups as well. Cataclysm on a 3, but dashes up and out. Wild Growth on Ninja, and Piercing Light to the face. That's going to be Wei Zhao picking up the kill. The culling being channeled as well, but Yancer on the run, and #1 probably can't do too much as well. So this turret could be going down very, very low, and they will just let it die. Aqua Prison actually lands an aggro being forced, but can they get the kill onto Zhenlong? It looks like they will do just that. Potentially Intervention saves the day, and they don't secure it on the other side, but over the wall, stun up onto Yancer as well. Very nice flash. Turret goes down, Dragon is up. What the face? Oh!
So unfortunately for the side of World Elite, the red buff tick does not take out Zhenlong, but this will mean a free mid lane turret and a dragon, plus I believe 2 kills from that fight for the side of World Elite. I mean, again, this is WE realizing what their power spike is and then just going for the subsequent objectives and just really capitalizing on the mistakes on the side of YG.
So the dragon goes down, but in turn, mid lane tier 1 going to be falling down as well. So third turret of the game, we're tied at 3. The base turret's down for the count for WE, but tier 2 in the mid lane down as well as the bottom one. Tier 1 top lane still manages to survive. 3-3 turrets, 9-4 in kills, and the gold lead is 5,000 in favor of WE.
Nick, I really can't stop gushing about how well World Elite is playing right now. I mentioned before.
You're very blunt.
Yeah, that WE was basically, so far in the season, had only been playing siege compositions very well. But now, even though this is a siege composition, it's not one of those, late game, drawn out, really just long, boring, compositions coming up from the side of WE. There's no Kog'Maw, there's no Kayle. In fact, I mean, they're just taking advantage of, Lulu's early utility. They got the Lee Sin, the Ziggs, a playmaker in Konan's Leona. So just really nice play coming out from World Elite all around. And yeah, really nice job from Zhenlong to dodge both of the reveals coming out from Axine's Lee Sin, but this just means another free turret for the side of WE.
Yep, so maybe WE getting back to those old roots. Like you said, a lot of predictions, putting them at number 6 or 5 in the LPL standings at the end of the season. So starting out tied for first place might just be nice, and they look like they've potentially shown a lot of improvement, maybe a lot of kind of shutting down the people who have been naysayers to them. But WE will have to see if they can close it out in this game. Remember, it's a set of 2, so even if they win this one, YG gets a chance to tie on the other side.
I mean, yeah, but at this point, even though YG does have another, of course this game's not over yet, but even though YG will have another crack at the side of World Elite, W is looking very strong right now, and I fear for Young Glory's chances in the second game, as well as in this first game, especially since at only 26 minutes in, there's already a 6-gate goal lead. So World Elite is exactly where they want to be, and look for them to maybe start warding around Baron a little bit, because by now they can take Baron quite easily, and then just go towards the enemy blue side of the jungle and start sieging the mid lane. So just all they need to do is just sweep the vision from the side, sweep Young Glory's vision, and it looks like they're doing that right now.
Yeah, they're heading up to take down this Tier 1 top lane turret. That is going to be their target in question. And number 1's just going to surrender it to Wei Zhao and World Elite. So down for the count, all the base turrets, 4-3 in favor of WE now. And they look to push again, potentially, trying to get a grouping. Maybe we'll see a little bit of a fight, but WE just look like they want to back off.
Yeah, we can see a fight, especially since not Yanxi. I keep confusing the name. Zhenlong's Twitch is in the bottom lane, and Chao Mei still has his teleport up. So we could either see a fight near this top lane turret, or we might even see a Baron bait from the side of World Elite. They have a lot of options right now, especially given how far ahead they are.
Just chilling with the wave clear, looking to push it up. They're trying to get a clutch Sonic Wave, and then maybe some nice positioning from Sin. And tanking up the turret, a couple of auto attacks. Wei Zhao doesn't give 2, but Twitch has made a showing. That's going to be double teleports. Both number 1 and Chao Mei have those up. And Zhenlong trying to do some trading, actually going for it hardcore, but knocked up and out there with a little bit of a satchel charge. So
did he just activate Spray and Pray?
Rubber Ducky. It looks like he did. Rat-a-tat-tat.
Yeah, I think he did. So, I mean, god damn it. So,
wow!
I hate that name so much. But really awkward usage of the rat-a-tat-tat right there from the side of Zhenlong's Twitch. I don't know why he would activate it, especially it seemed clear that he couldn't make any plays off. But, oh, nice pick coming out from the side of World Elite. I think this might be another kill.
It might be. Mega Inferno Bomb, you answer the target in question. Mikhail's Crucible, nice job dodging the Sonic Wave, so he will not go down. But actually, Cinder with the Unleashed Power, get back to the camera, trying to flash it. Can Diangun make something happen here? Wei Zhao getting Wild Growth up to the face, and that one's going to be a dead Yin Fu. Tidal Wave coming from the backside as well. And now Syndra on the run. Can they make it happen? But from the backside, Zhenlong, and he picks up the kill onto Chao Mei. And now YG potentially on the aggressive and offensive. Sin just waiting around the backside, but now it's WE on the run. Wei Zhao and Conan forced to use that summer heal to get up and out. And remember, it's 4-9, so they have a little bit of an extension on that speed boost. So
I mean, that was a really, interesting fight. I think Conan's about to go down here, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was something like a 3-for-1 trade near the Baron pit. So Young Glory actually might go for this Baron, despite the fact that Axine is still up on the side of World Elite. So Young Glory basically has, a series of interesting decisions they can make right now. So what actually happened during that fight was that Axine tried to pull off, a gank onto, a pick, onto Diangun's Syndra, but unfortunately for him, Diangun flashed away, so that put Axine in a very awkward position to make any kind of play at all, especially given that he had burned his flash. So what that meant was that Diangun was effectively useless, and Axine was effectively useless, and Diangun still had a lot of kill potential left in that Syndra. Also, I do have to give props to Yancer because he did have a fairly nice tidal wave, which effectively split up the side of World Elite and also landed onto Wei Zhao. So, nice job from multiple members on the side of Young Glory.
So Dragon's up in 7 seconds. The question is, do WE want to go for this one? There's potential pinks on the Baron for YG, and if they go for this Dragon, it could be a trade, but WE has had Dragon control and objective control this entire game. Probably don't want to lose that on a Baron engagement, so Pink Wars in the pit.
World Elite, you just see how poor, really, Young Glory's Dragon control is. They allow Wei Zhao to effectively solo this Dragon and then just scare off the side of Young Glory. And they can't even start Baron either, because they can't even start Baron with this knowledge either, because just the vision control from Young Glory is so just not good, really. They're just putting wards in random places, and it doesn't look like a lot of members on the side of Young Glory are contributing to placing their pink wards and green wards efficiently. So we're basically in complete control of this game, and they're not scared of any kind of bait that YG is going to make, because the information that they have all around the map is just so overbearing.
So 4-0 on Dragons Y or WE. They're very big on the objective control now, and thinking that off, letting Wei Zhao solo, like you said. Number 1, getting some Baron aggro from the Sonic Wave, courtesy of Sin in the jungle, but he'll back off, and they potentially won't go for this Baron. Might just be a little bit of a Mexican standoff in the pit, in the river for a while until things get rolling.
Mexican standoff? Yeah. Really?
What, they're just kind of standing there looking at each other like...
I've actually never heard of the term Mexican standoff before used like that.
It's pretty common.
Really? So when two people stare at each other and look at each other,
that's called the cowboy duel, my friend.
It's called Mexican.
That's called pocket pistols. The Cowboys back in the day doing their little duel.
I see. Okay, well, today I learned.
Okay, so 5 Cowboys versus 5 Cowboys doing duels in a standoff position is, I guess, what is the central theme of what I'm trying to express.
Well, I mean, then why are they Mexican?
I don't know.
Okay, so going back to the game, Word Elite reclaiming vision control of this Baron.
You're killing me, Smalls.
And looking very strong again. It's fairly surprising to see that Word Elite doesn't decide to put place a pink ward inside that Baron pit. I'm guessing that they use a sweeper, and for some reason they just didn't spot out that ward. So Young Glory going to be fairly comfortable trying to find a pick onto Wei Zhao, and we'll see if any of the members can find a play.
Oh man, just look at that. Shenlong going in hardcore, but the Tidal Wave comes out doing zoning potential. Solar Flare, Mega Inferno Bomb combo into 3. Ninja takes down number 1, and now they're just progressing all the way through. Chao Mei picks up another kill. Flash from Wei Zhao trying to take down Yin Fu, but Shenlong gets a solo it out there. Down for the count. That's going to be Yin Fu down 3-0 in favor of WE. They are just pulling straight up for the Baron.
Thank God Conan is playing Leona this game and not Nami, because Nami has always been pretty good. Really nice solar flare coming out from the side of World Elite. I was so impressed by how good of it that was. Just that basically turned the fight around, because they had got a nice pick. They had nice position at the Twitch. Look at here. I mean, just the Twitch comes in, stealths in, activates the rat-a-tat-tat, but then just a beautiful solar flare onto what, 2, 3, maybe even 4 people, just completely just captures the whole team. Nice Mega Inferno Bomb to synergize with that solar flare. Just clean up from there. Wei Zhao decides to go in and gets the final tick onto Yin Fu.
That looked like it was a fight engaged up by YG, courtesy of Shenlong, and it just completely turned against them on a nice stacking of crowd control on the solar flare and the Mega Inferno combination. That was very well done. Definitely a pretty big wombo combo right there. But 13-7 right now, a Baron up WE, looking for a potential push. Maybe they'll just kind of let it be for a little bit, but the gold lead is now nearly 10,000, so they've almost crossed the double-digit marker. 5-3 in turrets, and they've just got full control of this game.
Yeah, I mean, 10,000 gold is... I mean, they're in a very comfortable position right now. Wei Zhao even grabbed the early Banshee's Veil to, counter. Banshee's Veil is a very good item against Syndra, so nice job. And there might be another pick right here, because Ninja's effectively captured. Oh, nice intervention coming out and saving him.
Intervention, that's 3 times that the save has been used out by number 1 on the intervention. Very nicely done.
Oh, we might see another fight here.
Oh man, the Zenith Blade.
Of Ziggs.
Conan trying to go in full on, but actually might be the death of him, as you can see. Trying to make it out with as much shield as possible, but Cataclysm being used up, and Conan's just going to fall down there to Yin Fu on the Jarvan. So 13-8, make it a 1-0.
I mean, Chao Mei, I still, even though World Elite was in a bad position then, given the fact that they have a 10,000 gold lead, they did have a 10K gold lead, I still think they could have turned it around right there, and we might see another fight coming out from, oh my goodness, that might be a kill.
And trying to get a nice flash scattering of the weak, but the shield as well. This is going to be, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the Sonic Wave from a distance, but down for the count, Wei Zhao from the back, and now they're trying to progress on to number 1. Sonic Wave goes wide left. Can he duke this out and try to kite as best as possible? Who knows? But Wild Growth being used up, a bouncing bomb going to be dodged out, and Ninja picks up the kills. Shenlong down for the count. Sin from the back. Can he take down Yancer? Trying to do a little bit of war jump. Sonic Wave being a little bit cheeky with it, but it will not be able to be taken all the way. They're going for this dive. No mana on Yancer, and look at this. Wei Zhao coming from the back. Made him for the bomb. Nothing. Intervention trying to do something, but he is down for the count, and that is an ace for none. A clean ace for WE. They'll take down the tier 2. They're looking for inhibitors.
that was basically a 5v4 coming out from the side of WE right there, and just really nice Lee Sin mechanics coming out from Axine. His Lee Sin is beautiful right now. So he was able to basically send Jiangun away from damaging any of his carries, follow up on the resonating strike, get that kill, turn the entire fight around because it looked really bleak for World Elite at one point, and now they're able to get 2 turrets and an inhibitor out of this. Really nice from World Elite. You know, all they have to do is basically wait around, maybe they can find one pick, and then they'll be able to close out the game.
Definitely using their Baron wisely right now, taking control of objectives all the way. Dragon is up in 20 seconds again. They have all 4 of those this game, 4 for 4, none over to YG. As we do get into a replay, so you can take us through what happens in this fight.
Oh my goodness, look at Axine right there. Is able to follow up on that, threading the needle on that Sonic Wave resonating strike. My goodness, I would be spamming Kriegasm in chat right now because that was sexy. And Chow Mei is able to go away. I don't know why. I think he must have been, you know, just A-clicking right there, because I don't know why he would attack the minions. But just really nice team fighting coming out from World Elite, and Axine is carrying this team right now. Wait, given that every single member of World Elite is playing very well as a unit, and they seem to certainly understand, you know, what they're supposed to do at all times, at every single minute of the game. But man, Axine is just he's the catalyst right now for World Elite's dominance in this game.
And something to notice as well, their peel has been very stellar, like that scattering of the week that landed on a Ninja. He popped barrier, but he was basically safe for the most part. Their peel has just been on point this game. There's really been no YG players getting to the back line of WE, and now WE looking for more offensive, trying to take down this enemy red buff, get some counter jungling up and in, but nice scattering of the week. And from the backside, Sin dodged out again. He wants to go run full force into 5, but there's again Solar Flare in the title as well. But Kale's Crucible being used up. Unleashed Power picks up 1. Look at this trade. Mega Inferno Bomb. That's going to be a dead one. Ninja picks up the kill, but 2 down. And look at this Cataclysm being used up as well. Just trying to flag and drag it up and out. Sonic Wave. And you answer the targeting question for Sin. Can he make another trade happen across the board? It's a 3-on-1. He'll run away, but Aqua Prison does actually get dodged out by the Banshee's Veil, and they want to keep taking this one to full term. Sonic Wave is there. Intervention being used. Is he going to wait it out? Flash Satchel charge as well. Getting a knockback, and Xiao Mei picks up the kill onto number 1. And now 2 members left versus the 3 members remaining of WE. They want to push for this inhibitor down the mid lane.
Oh, I thought they were going to go for the inhibitor, but they might close it out right here. It might
40
be a
minutes.
good game right there. There are 2 members up, though. We'll see if they can make a play.
1 Nexus turret falls down. The second one potentially soon to follow. And Team WE, ladies and gentlemen, going to be taking game 1 of this set of 2 between YG and WE. So great advantage for them to start it off. And a nice 37-minute thriller, making it happen.
What a stomp right there. I mean, it didn't look like it based on, you know, some of the kill scores, but, you know, World Elite played out their composition perfectly. What a really good game coming out from WE. What a really just, you know, nice, clean, both mechanically and strategically. What a nice game from, you know, not only Axine, even though he's my MVP of this game, but just from every single member of World Elite. Conan did very well as well. You know, I'd been giving him a lot of hate in the past few weeks because, you know, his Nami left a lot to be desired, but his Leona was very much on point today. Wei Zhao played well despite getting caught out in that last fight and allowing Diangun to essentially assassinate him. So, you know, good game for World Elite, and Axine is just destroying everybody right now. You know, just Yinfu really didn't do enough in the early game. Yinfu should have invested a lot more in early ward coverage. He should have tried to track Axine around the map to at least, you know, stymie the ability of World Elite to capitalize on what their composition does. And just a nice methodical game coming out from WE. Nick, I am very, very impressed personally.
And that's something big coming from you. You are very, very, I don't want to say critical at all, but you definitely are big
I hate
on
World Elite.
Just be blunt about it.
Yeah,
probably not the biggest fan ever. But
you know, I mean, really, when they got rid of Sukim and Ruo, it really puzzled me because Sukim and Ruo both have more talent, frankly, than Axine and Ninja do. But if every game is going to be played like that, then I very much respect, you know, Hero's wishes and decision making, because that was a nice game.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe we're going to take a quick break in the action, but when we come back, probably going to be around the pick ban phase for set number 2, or game 2 of the set between WE and YG. Remember, if you're just joining us, WE in a 37-minute thriller took it home against YG on a nice Baron, nice team fights, and great play overall. So we will be right back, play some ads, and stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
IG. Their bottom lane, unfortunately, is pretty weak. So, in the event that the duo lane from Young Glory does decide to, lane against Wei Xiao and Conan, I expect them to get thoroughly stomped because they're just not at the professional tier at this point.
I am honestly expecting, I know you can see champions like Yancer playing people like Nami and Annie, but potentially I'm expecting a soon-to-be Blitzcrank, as he does play a lot of that Blitzcrank, so I'm hoping that we can see that one, because just imagine those face grabs onto Wei Xiao just getting destroyed. So, probably now, as the WE lineup is being gone over, we should probably go over that as well. So, in the top lane for WE, it's going to be Xiao Mei. In the jungle, Sin. The mid lane, Ninja. AD carry and support, Wei Xiao and Conan.
I mean, you really have to look at the jungle and mid lane positions, and I'm sure, that's all the talk of China right now. Because, me, but, other members of, some of my other colleagues who, are fans of the Chinese League of Legends scene, we were all just really stunned at this kind of move, especially since, in my opinion, first, straight up, Sukim is much better than Ninja. I mean, Ninja doesn't touch the dirt on Sukim's shoes. I think that's how clear of a difference there is between these two players. And especially since Sukim was still at, kind of the growth stage, it really was puzzling to see Hero remove Sukim in favor of, a Korean mid laner who never really impressed me. Back in the OGN, Old B really carried that team and that lane. Ninja, I don't think, ever did anything really special. And on the jungle side, while Axine is really famous, he was in the Jinner organization. He took some time off because, as you might remember, he used to be in the AQ Esports Club, which was involved in the scandal, and which the scandal which led former AD carry Promise. Also, I never knew that. Wow, I feel honored now. I thought my parents named me Hugo because my father was slightly drunk on the day I was born, but I guess not. My name is Hugo Souldra Shim, and I am so pleased to be with you, even though I'm not very excited for this World Elite versus Young Glory game. However, I do think we will have some really fun games coming up, and, it's always a pleasure to be with you, Nick.
I just realized at the start of that right there, my mic was actually muted on stream, so the full intro didn't go through because I'm just too cool like that. So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I am Nick Yako. Unfortunately, you could not hear me, but again, yes, join with Souldra. We're bringing you this fine coverage of the tents and LPL. We do have 2 sets of 2 for you tonight, or today, wherever you're at in the world. First off is going to be Team WE versus Team Young Glory. And the second one, OMG versus IG. That's a very hyped up match.
Nick, I still can't believe you put me on blast like that. Oh my goodness, that is so embarrassing. No, but these, I think, especially the OMG versus IG game is what our fans will really be looking forward to because, that is it. Of course, it's a rematch from the LPL playoffs. And that's when Xiang was still at the mid lane for OMG, and IG did, fairly easily crush, the men in black. So I am very excited to see how both of these teams do, especially with, new players at both the top lane for IG. They brought in the young Korean player Youngsu, and at the middle lane for OMG, they brought in arguably the greatest mid laner in Chinese history.
Cool. Deserves more hype than you tried to give, so I tried to go cool.
Yeah, I'll let you do that kind of thing. I'll just I'll sip my tea right here. I got some water with me, and this is going to be a very long cast because just these World Elite games, to go into a little bit of analysis, to do a little bit of my job, these World Elite games do tend to drag on for a really long time.
70 minutes. Yeah, 70 minutes, just like 2 nights ago, rather.
I feel like their micro gameplay, like their positioning and their handling of certain objectives, like Baron, Dragon, their tower siege is also very good, even though World Elite mostly does pick tower siege compositions. But their micro gameplay is very good. But they're putting themselves in positions to succeed. That is where World Elite kind of falls off, and that's where you want to hire the coach. You want Hero to teach these players how to put themselves in positions to do well and to eventually capture these objectives. But for some reason, World Elite's grasp of rotations and being able to move in to comfortably grasp objectives is not as crisp as it could be, and not as crisp as I would expect, especially since Hero did bring in Ninja and Axine specifically to be able to communicate with those two players better than they would have Sukim and Ruo.
Yeah, so looks like right now, going over potential lineups on screen for y'all, so before picks and bans, we might want to go over those as well, potentially. For the side of Young Glory, top lane, going to be number 1, the jungle Yin Fu, mid lane Diangun, if I can get my pronunciations, 80 carries Zhenlong, and then support Yancer.
And on this... Oh, and if I'll have the pleasure of announcing the side of World Elite, or do you want to talk about YG first? I mean, if we're just going to talk about the YG's lineup, yeah, if we're going to talk about YG's lineup, there's nothing really special. To be frank, there's nothing really special about the side of one known as Fimir to attempt to commit suicide. Luckily for us, he failed. But after taking some time off, Axine did move to China, and while he is a little bit more polished than Ruo, I think Ruo had much more potential than Axine ever will have for the rest of his career.
So now I'd imagine we're going to get into picks and bans very, very soon, but I just want to say I was told you were going to be blunt about your statements on WE. So
I mean, just to go over, World Elite is not a very good team. When I was talking with some of my colleagues, I predicted them to come 6th. 5th or 6th in the LPL, and even though they have pulled out a few good wins, I think they're very predictable at this point. And picking and banning against them is very easy. You just have to ban some of the split pushing top laners, some of the 80 carries that scale really well, because essentially World Elite only knows how to split push and siege towers. If you ban out the Kog'Maw, ban out the Kayle, ban out the Lulu, what does World Elite really have? Because clearly Conan can play Nami. Let's just put it out there. Conan can't play Nami. So if you ban out certain key champions or pick away certain champions from World Elite, it's really easy to capitalize on their mistakes. So hopefully YG does decide to do that, even though their pick ban phase has been quite suspect for the past few weeks.
So on that note, though, looking at the standings for this LPL right now, it's a 4-way tie for first place, WE included in that tie, with other teams such as LGD and IG, respectively. So, I mean, you say possibly not the best start, maybe a 6th place prediction, but started off fairly nice in this LPL summer season. So, wait and see it. But we are into picks and bans, ladies and gentlemen, so let's just go ahead and get to it. Thresh down for the count, LeBlanc down for the count, and Kasten. These Chinese players definitely targeting out those mid lanes.
Yeah, I mean, Thresh and Braum, especially since so much emphasis is put onto playmaking, AD carries and supports, Thresh and Braum are both very, good target bans in terms of trying to, well, not just bans in general, in terms of just trying to remove these so-called OPs. LeBlanc is a very good target ban against Diangun. His LeBlanc is fairly good, and he's shown himself to be quite shaky on other champions. And Kassadin is just Kassadin's pretty broken right now, so that's almost a given. And we keep seeing these Kha'Zix bans. I don't necessarily agree with Kha'Zix in this 4.9 patch. We are in 4.9, ladies and gentlemen. Because especially since most people play him in the jungle, I don't think he's bad in the mid lane, but in the jungle he's just not that good. And really good on the side of Young Glory to take away that Kayle, not let World Elite get that top lane Kayle, even though I do suspect that Chow Mei will grab the top Lulu as a response.
So going over to number 1, now we get to see, like you said, the top Lulu is available, and that is definitely one of the top tier picks in China at this time around. So definitely going to be big. As you can see, a 10.9% ban rate, so letting that one through. Lee Sin is going to be coveted in the jungle by WE, as well as that Lulu first pick. You called it 100%. Now I get to see what YG actually goes with to counter.
Yeah, I mean, Lee Sin is just a really nice standard pick right now, especially in the hands of these Korean junglers, such as Axine, such as Insect. They really know how to make Lee Sin work. Top Lulu, I don't think it's a surprise at all. We might even see the top Lulu, and then, God forbid, I think Wei Zhao might even decide to play, something like Kog'Maw or Lucian this game. So it might be one of those long, drawn-out World Elite games that I don't know if my body is ready to handle that kind of cast. Nick, we've been on the LPL for one day on the job. I don't know if we can go into a 70-minute game at this point in time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if Wei Zhao does go for that Kog'Maw pick, there's something that differs him from a lot of other AD carries. He is so aggressive with his positioning. He was just, if you watch the game, the 70-minute,